Welcome back to episode 3 of the weekly wrap. So, all things to do with EVs over the past week. What a big week it's been. Hope you guys have had a good week and ready for the weekend. So, let's jump into it. We've got quite a lot of movement in the world of EVs this week. So, let's jump straight into it. First things first, we have got some Cybertruck news again. So Cybertruck, as you guys know, has officially left Canberra. It's been spotted in Melbourne, as you can see in this picture. I would say over the next couple of days, you'd probably find out specifically when it will be available for viewing. But from this article that was earlier on in the week, it was spotted and it will be available in Mulgrave. So that covers that one. We've now got another piece of Tesla news. So Model 3 Performance, as you saw in the updates last week, Model 3 Performance was available and delivered to our first customers, and I think it started in Queensland. So a fellow owner, Martin Donnan, that I found on Facebook, put here, let the fun and games commence. 2 days old and already being put through, I guess, a process of what we call a teardown or pull down for inspection. So a couple of key points that Martin's put in there. So 4D2 power unit sits differently, smaller. You can see some pictures of adaptive damper controls, some additional cooling plates on the rear power unit, different inverter, totally different front hubs, twin boombox outlets front and rear, which means that you essentially have some I guess sounds, or the pedestrian warning sounds at the front and the back, and there's potentially more of you. Give them a follow. I'll go through the pictures now. Now, I'm not technically minded, so don't know specifically which picture is which, but we can scroll through some of those so you guys can see. So here's a couple of the photos that you can see here, obviously with to do with the suspension and struts on the middle and the right one, and the left one is to do with the motor. You've then got some more, or another 3 pictures over here. So again, I'm not technically minded, I don't know what specific photos or what parts they are, but pause it, go back, have a look, and if you guys have any questions or comments, you can jump over to, I think it was a Tesla owners Facebook group, or you can contact Martin to essentially have a look. Alright, Nissan. So Nissan ADR rules. So basically Nissan's advocating to actually change the process of our safety standards. So they want to essentially align building rules or building car rules to the Euro NCAP safety, which essentially means we have a couple of bespoke rules in Australia, which means that we're stricter here. Some examples of what stuff is strict is we say that in all cars in Australia, as part of the ADR rules, we need to have tether points above the seats. So that's one example. I'm sure there's quite a few others, but basically Nissan's Vice President Managing Director did highlight that specifications from major markets like UK and Japan could be used instead of developing bespoke ADRs or Australian design rules. And what that might mean is if we did do that, it will reduce the current 20-month approval timeframe down to just 6 months. And so, as I was saying, top tether point is something in Australian ADRs that we say is a must-have. Previously, Tesla's been called out for it, BYD's been called out for it as well. And in the example to do with electric cars is the Nissan Ariya, that's ARIYA. That lacks center rear top tethers in Japan, and it affects the rollout in Australia. And mind you, that is a 2022 model, so it's probably been already 2 years, and we still haven't seen it on the roads here. So Nissan, get your act together. Anyways, let's keep going on. So I received an email earlier on in the week. Now, I'm not being paid by the government or anything like that, but I just thought it was good and interesting to, I guess, bring to light to my viewers. New South Wales Government Net Zero Plan. So basically, they are funding up to 75% of costs covered for businesses. Applications are open. You can see down the bottom right that $10 million is still available, which essentially means only half of it is covered, or half of the budget is currently used, because it says they were investing $20 million. So far 215 sites have been successful under the grant, and yeah, there's lots of information that you could search up, and if you are a business that wants to look at getting some charging ports or some charging stations at your business, then go for gold. applications are open and all the best. So you've got till Friday 2nd of August. Now, Ford F-150 Lightning. That is such an expensive car. It gives me also Cybertruck vibes in some instances because of that LED bar that goes around the front headlights over here. Basically, I started to see that I started to get Facebook ads from AusEV, who essentially is the company that does the conversions in Australia. You can see there 0 to 100 in 4 seconds, so it is blisteringly fast for a massive car like that. All of them are being sold as used vehicles. I believe something to do with the rules here in Australia around conversions. Basically, you can see there it's from around $196,900. And it's from around there. So this first picture, the second picture, sorry, 9 Ford F-150 electric cars for sale in Australia. That's just about $210,000 excluding government charges based on that. So there was about 6 or 7 at that price, and then there was a couple more around the $200,000 mark. Either way, there's some specifications that you see over there. It's quite expensive, but just know that they're starting to sell them. People can actually own them. I haven't seen any myself. There's a couple of pictures floating around the internet of people seeing these cars in charging stations, like at ChargeFox stations, for example. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think it's a massive, massive car. Alright, let's jump to the next one. Kia EV5. So, last week you may have seen or recalled that I did have Kia EV5 article or segment around it being delayed. So we've now got access to the approval document specs, and so whilst it hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, you do have approval documents that do outline, I guess, a certain level of specifications. So you can see there you've got 1 variation of light, 2 variations of air, and then 2 variations of earth. All the front wheel drive variants have about 160 kilowatts worth of power, and the earth all-wheel drive ones have an extra 70 kilowatts on the rear, which is a total of 230 kilowatts. The base ones, or the standard range models, have a 64 kilowatt hour battery, and then the long range ones have 88 kilowatt hour batteries. They are both LFP, which is fantastic, so you could charge it all up to 100% as much as you need to. They generally say once a week at least. And in terms of range, it's actually pretty decent, 530 to 720 kilometers of range. The bit that I'm unclear of at this point in time is what does that translate in terms of real world figures, because that 530 to 720 was called a CLTC test cycle, and again that depends on the specific variants, but 530 to 720 I'd say look realistically potentially maybe in the 400s to 500s potentially. We'll have to see. Either way, the other thing to take into consideration is the specific specifications are not 100% locked in and confirmed. That's just from what we can see in the approval documents, so we'll have to wait for the official press release so we can cover it more, so I'll keep you guys posted. Next one, Hyundai IONIQ 6. So the plate's EV cop, so the Nepean Police Area Command, which is actually in New South Wales west, so towards the Blue Mountains, so quite far west. So the Nepean Police Area Command vehicle fleet have had a Hyundai loaned to them, Hyundai IONIQ 6. So the EV article that I found, or a couple of EV articles, said they don't know which variation it is. So I've gone onto the website, I've got a snapshot here for you guys to see, and based on looking at the wheels and looking at the mirrors, I say they've got the Technic spec, the mid spec. So no digital side mirrors, the wheels look exactly like that. So it's all-wheel drive potentially as well. And yeah, so 2023 IONIQ 6. If you guys are in the Blue Mountains area, you potentially may be seeing that around. So it's going to be used by the crime prevention unit more around community drives and interactions rather than actual day-to-day police duties, arresting people and whatnot. So if you guys see it, send a snap. Alright, this is one of the most exciting ones for the week, I reckon. So Hyundai Inster. So you may recall that I've actually put this slide up last week. The good news is this week we've actually got the actual leaked pictures because, well, maybe not leaked pictures, they've officially unveiled it. How cool does that look? So there's a bunch of photos that you can see all over here. The inside really does look like Hyundai slash Kia type vehicle. The outside I think looks really cool. It reminds me of the Japanese or the JDM K class, which is a really small, usually around 660cc turbocharged vehicle. Yeah, what more can I say? I think it looks like a really funky car. It looks really cool. I think they've done an amazing job, and I can't wait to see them in person here. What do you guys think? In terms of specs, so some of the things I've been able to find: up to 355 k's WLTP, average consumption 15.3 kilowatt hours per 100 k's. We're expecting roughly a standard trim 42 kilowatt hour battery with a 71.1 kilowatt motor. Then you've got the long range, which is 49 kilowatt hour battery, so 7 kilowatt hours more, and 84.5 kilowatt motor. It does have internal and external V2L, which is fantastic. And then there's another note that I've written down here. Quote from Hyundai: global rollout with additional model on the way. So it'll launch first in Korea this summer, followed by Europe, Middle East, Asia Pacific in due course. Most of the equipment technologies will come fitted as standard, and then specs in terms of which what country will get what specs, that will come closer to launch. So very, very exciting. And then there was also one other note as a part of the press release, which says an additional variant called the Insta Cross will join Insta family in the future. So wonder how that'll look. Probably a bit more rugged, perhaps a bit raised, perhaps all-terrain tires to give it that little four drive look. Who knows? Anyway, I thought that looked really, really cool. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think. Okay, XPeng. It's been featured in pretty much all of the updates so far. They're really getting around at the moment. So you can see here Justin Wakefield, and this was a snippet from Facebook. XPeng G6 spotted in gold band last night. It is the first right-hand drive registered one in Australia, so start looking out for them. That's the one there, and supposedly there's a performance one too, or perhaps that was a long range. That's the one on the right. It is definitely confirmed as the first registered right-hand drive in Australia. When I was looking through the comments, I did say that it was an XPeng representative that was driving the vehicle and did confirm that. So very, very exciting. Now, Zeekr. So this one was a leak today. So a Zeekr X has been spotted in Sydney. Now I don't know specifically where that is, so I can't really confirm. But it is a right-hand drive model. It is here, and it was only roughly a week to 2 weeks ago that the first right-hand drive one actually rolled off one of the production lines in China, off the top of my head. But either way, one of them's here, so they're definitely coming real soon. Another point on Zeekr, and this was an article that I saw on Car Expert. I thought it was quite interesting. Zeekr has confirmed they are going to probably launch a C-Class SUV probably in 3 months, firstly China and then emerging markets such as Australia, and it will be a Tesla Model Y rival, similar to the 007 model, which you can see on the picture that I put there. And then down the bottom they've also said that they're planning to launch a large SUV there to rival the Kia EV9. Hopefully when they say large SUV, it is going to be 3 rows, 7 seats, not just a large SUV to be 5 seats. Definitely large, over 5 meters, not stupidly big. Fantastic. Hope it's actually less than 5.5 meters, because then it's something I can consider based on garage space. Either way, that's all the news we have for Zeekr, from Zeekr at the moment. Alright, let's get into a couple of Polestar updates. So 2025 Polestar gets more range, revised looks. Australia will have this available from September. Based on the European examples, the least expensive variant, now powered by a 70 kilowatt hour CATL battery pack, which is just 1 kilowatt higher, up from the current 69 kilowatt hours. Now, based on that small difference in terms of the battery pack and WLTP testing, their range has now increased from 546 up to 554. Not much, but it still has a bit of an increase. And then the other good thing about it is that there is also DC capability fast charging, which has increased at 180 kilowatts as opposed to 135. In terms of battery size for the long range variants, they still stay at the 82 kilowatt hours, but a more different designed 19-inch wheel, which we've got at the top over there, will essentially help also increase the range. And it's only a couple of kilometers, but it still is an increase in range, and it's increased from 655 to 659 kilometers. So is that going to entice you to buy one? I don't know. I feel like the updates are fairly small in that regards, but at least they are changes and they are still improving the car, so it's really good to see. Alright, and so the next Polestar update is on Polestar 3. So they have now just announced that they are going to have a new long-range single motor variant to join the lineup, which means that this is now going to be the cheapest entry-level variant. In terms of how cheap it is, not too sure in Australia yet, but when I looked on the website as a part of creating this pack for you guys, the cheapest one at the moment is the long-range dual motor, and before on-road cost is $125,400 in New South Wales. Once you add the on-road costs, it's $143,519.40, so just about $144,000. That is quite a lot of money for a 5-seater. I'm sure it's luxurious, I'm sure it's really nice. I've seen one in person, they really do look amazing. But I'd be curious to know, if we drop one motor, how much is it really going to cost? In terms of specs, so you still do get the same 111 kilowatt hour battery, 220 kilowatts though, 419 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 7.8 seconds. What do you guys think? Would you guys get one? Anyone got one on order? If you do, let me know. Be really keen to hear from you what you've considered before buying the car, and yeah. Alright, another leak, Hyundai IONIQ 9. So it was formerly known as the 7 concept, but people also have said IONIQ 9. There's also some rumors on the internet that have said that it's called the IONIQ 7. Realistically, I'm using IONIQ 9 for the time being, but there is a video going around the internet, and these are two screenshots of them on the left of the said potential car. So again, nothing's confirmed yet. It's just a leak of what people think it may be based on previous renders and everything. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like it? Do you think it looks cool? I mean, mixed minds on the back at the moment. The front does look quite cool. It's good to see that realistically they are still going to have side mirrors, because not having side mirrors is probably a concern. We've got tough ADR rules anyway, so we'd probably say you can't have one here if that was the case. But I like the ways that I like the big opening entrance with the doors opening invertedly like that. So I think it looks pretty cool. Funky design, but we'll have to see what the final product looks like. Anyways, that is the IONIQ 9. Alright, Fisker update. So you can pause it here if you want to read it. I'm not going to go through all of it. The long story short with this is they don't look like they have another buyer, so they're going to pretty much sell off and liquidate everything, so that it doesn't look like signs are pointing to the company is going to be saved by another manufacturer or a buyout. And then Fisker Ocean owners, you can see on the bottom right there, 8,204 recalls already. So it's very concerning since this is the 3rd recall this month, and it also shows that people aren't really confident about the car as well, and people genuinely do have concerns. So you can see the top part of the screenshot on the top right, groups of owners attempting to step up, negotiate for those things and owner rights at the table, but it may be all over before they even get the chance, especially if it all gets liquidated. So if you're an owner, all the best to you. Alright, another massive news update or announcement that happened just a couple of days ago. So Volkswagen has invested $5 billion, 5 big ones, into Rivian, and it boosts the EV makers' shares. So the bit that strikes me as odd is this, the third screenshot there, or the second paragraph. So this one over here says, it will also help Rivian, known for its flagship R1S SUV and R1T pickups, to turn cash flow positive based on this investment. So the cars are obviously still selling at a loss, so they still can't make money off it. But having this money then turns a cash flow positive. So I hope they're not trying to spin the article to try and sell it to the public. But I genuinely do like Rivian cars. I think they look cool. I think the concept is absolutely amazing. I'm not an outdoor person, but I do like it. But yeah, so $5 billion. Let's see where it goes. Okay, here's a classic Ford Capri, another leak. So on the left is one of the vehicles that found on the internet. That's what the original car looks like, and they're obviously going to revamp it, bring the Capri back, and those are the only two leaked photos that we can see. So no idea specifically how it's going to look. Hopefully it still has that retro styling, but we'll have to wait and see. That's literally the only two pictures that's available on the internet. So let me know what you guys think. Another exciting one, Rimac, or the Verne Robotaxi. So Rimac, for the ones that aren't familiar, is essentially the hypercar company, electric hypercar company, Croatia's leading supercar company that's essentially got an electric hypercar. Either way, they have renamed their robotaxi arm, which is called the P3 Mobility, to Verne, which was after Jules Verne. And the key headlines are: Verne will launch in Zagreb in 2026 in Croatia. And it received 200 million euros from the EU in 2021 to develop robotaxis. In terms of the autonomous technology side of things, Verne's robotaxi will be fully electric, rely on mobile eye drive, which is a level 4 autonomy system. The weird and odd thing that I kind of think about is, once I was looking into this, it's only a two-seater. So I guess from other parts of the world that sounds odd, but specifically from what they've said in terms of statistics, it says, despite being a two-seater, Verne aims to satisfy most trips, as data shows that 9 out of 10 rides are used by 1 or 2 people. So who knows? What do you guys think about the shape? I think it looks like a jelly bean. I think it looks odd, and all the best to them. Hopefully it does work, but I have my reservations until I actually see it in action. Then I can comment more, but purely based on looks at the moment, I find it looks like a jelly bean. What do you guys think? Alright, and other social media updates. Tesla Australia, New Zealand. Tesla Body Repair Centre also has one in Brisbane now. So we had one in New South Wales, in Alexandria, and we've got one now in Brisbane. And then Sawyer Merritt posted, largest battery manufacturer in China, CATL, has made progress in an all-electric aircraft partnership project. So expected to support a range of 1,250 to 1,860 miles by 2027 to 2028. And they have successfully flown a 4-ton civil electric aircraft and expects to release an 8-ton one over the next couple of years. So very interesting times where the battery technology is going. So that brings us to the end of episode 3. Hope you guys have been well. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any other specific content or brands that you guys want me to try focus on or dig into a bit more, let me know in the comments below. Give it a like, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you soon in the next one.